Welcome to Finance Deep Dive. All right, today we're breaking down a massive shock that just hit the global markets. A surprise announcement sent Wall Street into a complete tailspin, and we're going to get into exactly what happened, why it matters, and what the smartest investors are doing about it right now. Okay, let's get into it. The damage? It was immediate and honestly staggering. In just a single day of trading, the market saw over $1.5 trillion in value just vanish. I mean, that's a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. But it really represents the collective fear of the market responding to one single announcement. And this chart right here really shows you the bloodshed. The S&P 500, which is, a huge benchmark for the US economy, dropped a steep 3%. But look at the NASDAQ. It's packed with tech companies that rely on global supply chains, and it got slammed even harder, plunging over 3.5%. Yeah, this wasn't just some small dip. This was a full-on, panic-driven sell-off. So the big question is, what on earth caused all this? And it all comes down to this one thing, the 100% tariff shock. This was the catalyst, the spark that lit the whole fire. So let's break down what this policy actually means. So what exactly is a 100% tariff? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a brand new policy announced by Donald Trump that overnight doubles the cost of basically everything we import from China. We're talking about the phone in your pocket, parts in your car, you name it. A move this aggressive, well, it instantly threw us right back into a trade war. The reaction from investors was this perfect storm of fears. First up, the absolute dread of supply chain chaos all over again, and we all remember what a nightmare that was, right? Second, huge concerns about inflation going up because, hey, if goods cost more to bring in, they're going to cost more for all of us to buy. And finally, the really big one for Wall Street, the expectation of massive, drastic cuts to corporate profits. But let's get a little more specific here. Why did this one announcement cause such an insane, extreme reaction? Well, there are three core reasons for this huge sell-off, and if you understand these, you really understand the market's mindset right now. Okay, number one, trade uncertainty. Look, if there's one thing the market absolutely hates, it's a surprise. And a 100% tariff coming out of nowhere, that's about as big a surprise as you can get. Second, the cost shock. This is a direct punch to the gut for countless companies that rely on imports. Higher costs mean lower profits, plain and simple. And third, the fear of retaliation. The market immediately started pricing in the very real risk that China would hit back, hurting key American exports like agriculture and airplanes. So with all that in mind, who really got hit the hardest? Let's take a look at the real-world impact on the specific sectors and companies that are, the backbone of our economy. Now, what's really fascinating here is just how far the pain spread. You've got your tech giants like Apple and NVIDIA. Their whole manufacturing world is tied up in China, so boom, supply chain fears everywhere. Then you have heavy manufacturing, companies like Caterpillar and Ford, who are now staring down much, much higher costs for parts. And it doesn't stop there. Even retailers like Walmart and Target are in the crosshairs, facing rising costs on pretty much everything they put on their shelves. Okay, so this all sounds pretty grim, right? And it naturally leads to the single most important question for anyone with money in the market right now. So, what now? Do you sell? Do you run for the hills? What's the right move? And this is the crucial part. While so many people were hitting the panic button and selling everything, the really experienced investors, they were doing something completely different. They weren't panicking. They were repositioning. And that's the pivot from just reacting to having a real strategy. And that leads us right into our final section, the smart money moves. Let's really dig into how the pros are playing this, because you can see some clear strategies taking shape amidst all the chaos. Broadly speaking, their strategy pretty much boils down to three key things. First, moving their money into what are called defensive sectors that aren't as exposed to these trade wars. Second, looking at safe haven assets to protect their wealth. And third, keeping some cash ready, just watching for unique buying opportunities that this kind of panic creates. So let's break down that first move, jumping into defensive sectors. We're talking about industries like utilities, healthcare, and, consumer staples. Think about it. People still need electricity, they still need medicine, they still need to buy groceries, no matter what the economy's doing. That makes these stocks a whole lot more resilient when things get rocky. All right, next up, safe havens. It's a classic playbook move, right? When things get super uncertain, investors run for cover in assets they believe will hold their value. And we saw a big surge in both the traditional safe haven, gold, and its modern digital counterpart, Bitcoin. Both of them jumped as money looked for a place to hide from the storm.
And the third strategy, well, this one's for the patient investor, the one who's not just reacting. It's all about watching for those buy the dip moments. When panic selling drives the prices of really strong companies, especially some of those big tech giants, down to levels that just don't make sense, it can create a fantastic long-term buying opportunity once the dust settles.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The bottom line is, the next few weeks are going to be critical and probably pretty volatile as everyone waits to see what China does next. The key for anyone trying to navigate this is to focus on the long-term fundamentals, not the short-term fear that's all over the headlines. Panic is a strategy for losing money. Having a plan is a strategy for building wealth. Hey, if you like the content in this video and it helped you make a little more sense of all this market chaos, don't forget to subscribe. It really motivates us to keep posting. Thanks for watching.